Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Media Boat Podcast, your weekly rundown where we talk about movies, TV, music, and video games, not necessarily in that order. My name is Mike, and together for like 3 weeks is Matt.
My name is Matt. His name is Mike. Yes, we are both in the same Zoom call together for the first time in a few weeks. Don't get too used to it. Yeah, it's busy here. It's just getting busier as I talk, as I speak. This is episode, wow, the number is wrong. I think we're on 487 this week, I want to say, because 485 was the show I did. So,
486 was last week.
so yeah, 487. It is May 15th, 2025. And yeah, this is the Media Boat Podcast. It's everything that he said it was. And we always start with the
Well, first we're going to start here with our YouTube count because I just like to point out that my single show has garnered more views than both of your solo shows.
well, la
So,
di da. Did you see the first solo show I put up of those two that I did? Some dude wandered into the comments and thought I was some other streamer guy and then
yes.
gave us a dislike.
Yes, but your first solo show from like in March 477, that one still tops us. So, you still have for now top number, but
It's
we'll get to
still
that.
still our best performing video is that Gossip Girl thing I made.
Yes, it is.
Still
But
very
we're not
proud
here
of
to talk
that.
about a YouTube count. We're here to talk about music and other stuff. So let's start with the music
Mhm.
section. Start the music section with the Billboard. Start the Billboard with the Hot 100. The hottest song in the land is still Luther by Kendrick Lamar and SZA. Coming in at two, Ordinary by Alex Warren. At three, Die with a Smile by Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars. Coming at four, a bar song, Tipsy by Shabuzi. And rounding out your top five, the thing that will not break, except the artist did break, Nokia by Drake.
Mhm.
As for your albums chart, your Billboard 200, what is this resurgence? Debbie Tunar and Mas Fotos by Bad Bunny.
This could be a tour. I don't know.
He is on SNL this upcoming week, although I doubt that's
Uh,
got something to do with it.
I don't know.
Or was he on wrestling this past weekend? That also could have been it.
Could be all sorts of things.
Part-time wrestler Bad Bunny. Coming in at number two, we have 111 Pantia by Fuezera Regida. And I hope I said that wrong.
I
Right,
have no
wrong,
idea.
whichever.
Right, wrong, wrong, right.
Wrong, right. I'm sure we will not see this back up here. At number three, SOS by SZA. Coming in at four, something I wish we wouldn't stop seeing up here. One Thing at a Time by Morgan Wallen.
Don't worry, we will probably not see it next week, but what we will see next week is a new Morgan Wallen record. We'll get to that.
And we're gonna get your top five, GNX by Kendrick Lamar.
Yes.
If you didn't like any of those albums, we have new releases, starting with 13 Months of Sunshine by Amine.
I believe there's an accent on the A, so it might be Amine
Accent on the A or the
on
I
the
or the
E at
E.
the end.
Amini, Amini, Amelia, 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 Amelia. For like the 10 people out there who get that.
Not to be
We
confused
also,
with anime, which is not that's the if you
yes,
reverse a couple
I'm
letters.
not reversing it, although I almost wanted to. We also have Chuck D presents
Mhm,
Enemy Radio, Radio Armageddon by Chuck D himself.
yeah.
There's also Funny Little Fears by Damino David.
Um, who is the lead singer of Måneskin, by the way. He's doing a solo thing.
Monoskin.
Yeah, Måneskin.
I remember Monoskin because
Hmm.
Eurovision's out right now and currently happening.
Maybe that's on purpose timing. I don't know.
It probably is. We also have Goodbye Smallhead by Ezra Furman. Playgirl by Mo. Lethal all caps, by Rico Nasty. And lastly, Better Dreaming by Tune Yards.
Mhm.
Because nobody in their right mind should ever be listening to I'm the Problem by Morgan Wallen.
Yeah,
Because
but
of course he is.
we can have fun with it though. We can just say he's the problem every
Yes,
time we read that title.
yes. With the problem himself, Morgan Wallen. And yes, as you alluded to, we may be seeing that in the Billboard Top
It'll
5.
probably be your number one next week. Yeah,
All
sadly.
right.
But
Well,
next, there's the music news story is something I chose just for you.
yes, because it's a crossover event with
Yes, it is.
music and film. So, Nine Inch Nails, principals and veteran film composers, aka Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, they
Hmm.
have announced a new festival called Future Ruins, which will feature some of the top film and TV composers in the business, taking place on Saturday, November 8th in Los Angeles.
Christy's birthday.
Who may be performing, you may ask? Why, none of the participants are none other than John Carpenter. Yes, that John Carpenter. Questlove. Yes, that Questlove. Danny Elfman. Yes, probably shirtless Danny Elfman. Mark Mothersbaugh and Hildur Gunther, among other participants. This will be presented by Live Nation, and the event is touted as, quote, a first of its kind music festival, which is a day-long event where the world's most influential film and television composers step out from behind the screen and onto the stage, according to this announcement. Tickets for this event will be released on Wednesday, May 21st at 12 p.m. Pacific time.
And you will probably set your calendars for this because this has you written all over it.
This definitely has me written all over it. I do love when like composers go out and like just like not just composers, but like the orchestra's playing while the movie plays itself. I love going to those kind of concerts.
Yeah.
I mean, I even saw Danny Elfman at Coachella
Hmm.
do his set and where he mixed in both his I think it was like the Oingo Boingo stuff and his like composing stuff, and it was blowing people's minds like, wait, he did this, he did that. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, he's been around for a while.
Turns out.
So have everyone like all together here is going to be one great lineup. Although notably missing from this lineup, the people who are putting this on themselves, Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross are not
Yeah.
listed billed to participate
I wouldn't be surprised
yet.
if they come out at some point and join somebody or yeah, there's got to be something like that. Do something from Challengers. That'd be fun.
Well, they
Um,
will have the new Tron Ares album out
yes,
by then as well.
at
Because I
that
believe
point.
that's an October release.
Yeah. So yeah, sounds cool. Sounds like a good idea for a festival. Gets kind of a different kind of person that would go to something oh, I don't know, like a Just Like Heaven that happened last Saturday that I attended.
Well, it is in Los Angeles. Does it say where? It doesn't say
I'm
where in
sure
Los
if I'm
Angeles.
sure there's a venue. It's not in this news story. I don't know why. But yeah, you
Right.
can look at that real quick. But
Uh,
in the meantime, I can segue right into that.
yeah,
We don't have any thoughts here, but I can say what my experience was like at a music festival
you
this past
went
weekend.
to a music festival as a 30-something-year-old.
Yes, not my first time. It's actually the second time I've been to a festival, but the first time in literally a decade that I've gone to one, and the first one where didn't go by myself, which was a nice change of pace. Yeah, this was really fun. I got to see a lot of bands. So yeah, just like Heaven, it's been an event that's been taking place in Pasadena for the last 3 or 4 years, and their shtick is they get a lot of bands from the late 2000s back together, if they're already on tour in some of the cases. Um, it's to for nostalgia purposes. It's a nostalgia tour, but it's a little bit more in the wheelhouse of the stuff that we were listening to in college. So it's kind of neat to see a lot of these bands. So among the notable bands and artists that I saw, TV on the radio, Block Party, Courtney Barnett, and headliners, um, well, co-headliners, I guess you could say, Rilo Kiley coming
Whoa.
back from the dead after have been broken up since about 2012, 2013. So they made a huge comeback. Had not released any music since 2007, I want to say, with Under the Blacklight. So it's been quite a while. But they are now on official tour. They're actually coming back to LA to play a couple shows at the Greek in October, which I am also going to. Got tickets for that today. But yeah, it was really cool to see them. They're a band that I really like. Very important to me. And yeah, I never thought I was going to. So when they announced that they were going to be in this festival, I told Christy, well, this is the one thing, the one band that I said if they ever reunited, I would go to the music festival. So I had to keep my promise to myself. And so there it was. It was super hot though. I mean, as you remember, last Saturday was like in the 90s.
Yep.
So yeah, it was real rough for the first handful of hours. Once the sun went down, it was perfect. It just took all day for that to happen. But yeah, it was an enjoyable experience. It was really fun.
Yeah. Looking up, I'm glad you had fun. Yes, it was hot. Yes,
Yes.
it was,
Yes.
but I'm glad that you had fun. It definitely sounds like you're kind of lined up there.
Mm,
And, festivals can be fun. You don't have to go to see a certain act because, like,
yeah.
we've been to other like music venues and venues events, but yeah,
Yeah.
uh, festivals are experiences.
For sure.
All
All right.
right. Looking
With
up at
that,
this item, and I was right. Atticus Ross and Trent Reznor are
yes.
on this thing.
Okay.
And some of these other names that I didn't really recognize, I recognize their work. Um, Cristobal Tapia de Veer did Baby Girl,
Oh,
Smile, White Lotus, Black Mirror. Uh, Ben Salisbury and Jeff Barrow did Ex Machina, Civil War, Annihilation. So you can kind of see some themes going on here.
you work with the same directors over and over again.
Yeah. Uh, Isabel Waller Bridge is here with Emma, Black Mirror, Fleabag, The Mole. Oh, the fox, the mole, the boy, the mole, the fox, and the horse. That
Oh, not ABC's The Mole slash
no, I
Netflix's
thought
The
it was, but I
Mole.
was like, okay, no, that makes more sense here. John Carpenter, obviously Halloween, They Live a
Obviously.
Thing. Kylie Dixon and Michael Stein from Stranger Things. Mark Mothersbaugh from
Mm.
The Life Aquatic, The
A
Royal
lot of
Tenenbaums,
stuff. Yeah.
Rushmore. Yeah. Yeah, it says right here, Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, The Social Network, Watchmen, Gone Girl, Soul, uh, Girl, Girl with Dragon Tattoo. No mention of challengers here, but I bet they'll play it.
Yeah. They have to.
Terrence Blanchard from Black Klansman, Inside Man, Malcolm X, One Night in Miami. And then yeah, Hauschka went from All Quiet on the Western Front, Conclave, The Amateur, Dune Prophecy. So yeah, lots of big names in here, and I am excited. Yeah, tickets go on sale Wednesday, May 21st at noon. There are two tickets, your general admission and your VIP access. And it will be at the Los Angeles Equestrian Center. So
Oh.
big, wide open festival area, not like a arena.
Yeah. Okay.
All right,
Cool.
well, I know what I'm ordering for my birthday.
Birthday present to yourself.
Yes.
All right. All right, let's move on.
All right, let's move on then into video games, where we start with
Yes.
new releases, including Capcom Fighting Collection 2 for the PC, PS4, Xbox One, and the Switch. Not current gen.
Yes. Yes, this one, well, you can play it on current gen consoles as well.
Yes,
But
this is the
yeah,
release for it.
this one is notable because it has the Capcom versus SNK games which have not been re-released in a online playable form in a long, long time. So fighting game fans will probably want to pick this up.
We also have Fantasy Life I, colon, The Girl Who Steals Time. Wide release. You got it.
Mhm.
You can play it. And lastly, Monster Train 2 for the PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, and the Switch.
Yeah, heard good things about roguelike deck builder Monster Train 1, and so
Mhm.
this is the sequel to that.
All right. We'll talk about a deck builder in a minute here. But first, video game news and a little bit of an update
Yes.
from Epic and Apple. So, Epic CEO Tim Sweeney says Apple has still yet to approve the addition of Fortnite to the iOS App Store and has suggested it's obstructing the process. The game was submitted to Apple for review on May 9th, but as of May 14th, Sweeney told followers on uh, X that Apple still hasn't approved of the game's release. After one follower asked Sweeney where the game was, he replied, "No news from Apple yet. They've had it since last Friday." When another follower asked Epic if Epic had reached out to Apple to find out what was going on, he then replied, "We emailed yesterday, but haven't heard back." Apple's official developer site states that, quote, on average, 90% of submissions are reviewed in less than 24 hours, close
Yeah.
quote.
I
And
would
so
not
this
be
has
surprised.
been
Yeah.
several 24 hours.
I wouldn't be surprised if Apple, well, obviously they're holding a grudge since the court case didn't go their way, and they do plan on appealing the case. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're just holding on to it until the appeal decision, which again is contrary to their developer rules. And I would get why Epic would be frustrated with this. Yeah,
Mhm.
they're holding a grudge. That's what it is. Is like they're just being mean because they can, because they're Apple. They're powerful. They have the power to decide what goes onto their platform.
Well, it also, if they're in appeals, you don't want to put it on your product,
Yeah.
have people download it, all of a sudden take it off your product platform. Then those phones who no longer have access to a game that is no longer available on your storefront,
Mm.
all of a sudden sell for because it's the only place you can play it.
Yeah, it's
If you want
extra.
to play it on an Apple device.
Yeah, it's extra funny because when they made this announcement that Fortnite was going to return to iOS, they kind of couched it in, "We're doing you a favor, Apple." When
Mhm.
they did it, they called it their olive branch after this decision went through because they figured Apple would love the attention that getting Fortnite back on iPhone would give them, but they apparently don't care that much. They're more bitter about how this decision went than they are desperate to get Fortnite back. They don't care. And Epic didn't realize that they were that serious about this. So, yeah, it's dumb. It's petty for sure.
Oh
But yeah,
no.
we'll have to
I
wait.
guess Epic will just have to suffice from the revenue from every other object that holds Fortnite.
Yeah, but think about it this way, though. So many people have phones. More people have phones than they have PCs and game consoles at this point.
Yes.
So getting Fortnite back on iOS is lucrative for both of them. It's just that Apple wants to play hardball with them.
Which is how we got to this thing in the first place of Apple playing
Mm-hmm.
hardball with its own money and its own storefront
Mm-hmm.
and their own specific rules for their own specific iOS devices.
Yep. Anyway.
But what are we to do if a game does or does not exist on an storefront?
Yeah, I included this next story because, well, you must have had quite a trip when you read this headline.
Because a game that technically doesn't exist
But
is
you've
still
played.
considered missing in
Yeah.
theory.
But you've played this, right? Didn't you play the beta for this?
Yes, there are people out there who have played the beta for this over a
Wait,
year ago.
wait, hold on. Don't say anything to confirm or deny this. Did you have to sign an NDA for that?
You could not share any footage of what you played
Ah,
of the game.
fascinating. Well, now I think you can be open with it. Now that the project is dead, I think you can say that you played it.
Okay, it's officially dead because Square Enix has officially come out and said that they will not no longer be developing or
Right.
releasing the next Kingdom Hearts game.
Yes.
Instead, they'll be focusing on all efforts to Kingdom Hearts 4.
Right.
So this game that is now considered missing is appropriately and was
Yes.
appropriately titled
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts Missing Link for mobile devices.
Yeah. Now it's literally missing. It's the
It's
missing
literally
link.
missing. It's literally so what was I mean, that's the joke in the Kingdom Hearts community right now, which is that this game, which is talking about the lost chapters, this lost kind of
Yeah.
timeline, is now literally lost to time because
Mhm.
they've literally stopped development on it, even though there were betas for it, even though they've been stress testing for it,
Yeah.
even though you've had people who have played the game, have leveled up in the game, have like I didn't do it, but spent potential money in this game.
Yeah, I mean, it's important to note that this coincided with Square Enix's like financial call.
Yep.
And so this had to have been a decision from the top. This had to be something that they got sent down to the Kingdom Hearts team. And they were like, well, okay, well, we got to focus on the big money maker. We're going to can this smaller project that we were focusing on for so long.
Right, because they were hoping that they would generate as much revenue in Kingdom Hearts Missing Link as,
Mhm.
say, the I think it's the Monster Hunter that's only available in
Right.
Japan.
But they must
Oh
just
no,
have
not
looked
Monster
at
Hunter,
the,
Dragon Quest. That's
yeah, Dragon Quest.
the Square Enix one.
Square Enix must have just looked at like the possibility there, the what's the term? It's like when you like the cost benefit of
Cost
it.
benefit
Yeah,
analysis,
and just
yes.
been like, well, it's costing more to develop this thing and put it out than it would be to just reap the benefits of putting it out. And if it sucks, then nobody
Well,
playing it.
here's the thing though. This game has been in development since 2019.
Yeah.
Like we've known about Kingdom Hearts Missing Link since they decided to end the other mobile game of
Yeah.
Union Cross and
And
Dark Road.
before and before we knew about Kingdom Hearts 4, right?
Mhm.
Like that couldn't have been announced sooner or late before that, right?
Kingdom Hearts 4 announcement was in 2022,
Right. Okay. That makes
and
sense.
Missing Link was in development since 2019.
Mhm.
Which I think because Kingdom Hearts Missing Link was supposed, I mean, it is or was supposed. I don't know how to say what it is because it's not currently dying and is dead.
It is dead.
Um, a mobile ARG where you go out, most like Pokemon Go, you out the world, you fight your
Right.
Heartless, you come back to your home base, and then like you level up your gear and stuff and progress in the story.
Yeah.
Uh, I guess they just didn't have either the bandwidth or the success kind of going out and like the set of those mobile games because we've seen
Yeah.
other mobile game types like that, like the Harry Potter game, like the Monster Hunter game, just like come out and kind of die
Yeah.
over the course of like 3 6 months, and
Yeah.
like Pokemon Go is the only one that continues to still like corner the market on that, like globally wise.
Yeah. So with that all said, are you disappointed? Were you excited to play this?
Disappointed, yes. Happy about it, yes. Because this means that now all efforts can be focused on Kingdom Hearts 4. And
Yeah.
as if prayers being answered, they released new screenshots of Kingdom Hearts
Yeah.
4 earlier today.
We should talk about the way they release them because when you think a modern video game screenshot release, you think, oh, I can swipe through these individual screenshots. No,
Nope, collage.
no.
They
They decided
collage
it
the
was
shit.
2012 and it was Tumblr and they just put like a collage of them. And I was like trying to squint to see the smaller ones. I'm like, what's
Yep.
going on here? Why
Well,
did
they
they do
did
it
too.
this
They did
way?
one post in US for the US, America, English, and one post for Japan. And they were like two different screens, shots in like two of them.
Sure. It looks, it looks like a current gen Kingdom Hearts game, like from
Yeah,
those
it did
screenshots.
get updated from running on Unreal Engine 4 to Unreal Engine
Yeah.
5. So this is our
Yeah.
first look of it on Unreal Engine 5. Uh, the
No, it's good.
I mean, it looks like you'd seen it in a magazine. Or sorry, those don't exist anymore. Sorry, Giant Bomb and IGN
Yeah,
and
like a
Game Informer.
glossy. Like, I don't know.
Yes,
They may appear in Edge. That's a magazine that still exists.
right. But like, you think like you throw this out and then you throw like with a trailer or something, but to throw this out in the middle of May with like no kind of fanfare to it, it's not
Yeah.
even like oh, here's like Square Enix announcing other stuff as well. No, it's just, you know, sorry we canceled this late, but here, see, we're working on good stuff. See? But this also does mean that we have finally have Kingdom Hearts 4 news since 2022, which means over 1,000 days of silence since they dropped that first trailer. Do we finally
Uh,
get something?
yeah. Well, keep waiting because that game's not coming out anytime soon.
Uh, Supposedly it's coming out next year, 2026, according to uh
Hmm.
Square Enix sales reports
Yeah.
or
We
conference,
will
because
certainly find
the
out.
next Final Fantasy 7 game won't come out until 2028, supposedly.
Jeez. Time isn't real. None of this is none of those years will happen, right?
That's according to their current estimates. But it's 2025, as we've seen with not just video games, but plenty of other media that we
Literally everything
talk
else. Yeah.
about. Yeah, it can be delayed and probably will be, probably, most
Yeah.
likely, yes.
Probably.
All
All
right.
right. Well, that's that story. Real quick, I just want to mention another quick follow up from a story from a couple of weeks ago. Um, so yeah, the stories of the death of Giant Bomb ended up reversing suddenly this past week. Apparently, on Saturday afternoon during their PAX panel, the staff announced that they themselves ended up buying Giant Bomb from fandom and will keep it running. And it will continue as an independent, fan funded website. So they mentioned that everything came with the sale. So they have the website, they have the store, the merch store, they have the YouTube channel, the socials, everything. They get the archive of the old videos, which is crucial and very important.
Mhm.
So yeah, they'll just keep on trucking. And so far, this week they've already started doing videos just like they used to. So you can go onto their website and join to support them either on a monthly or annual basis. Existing premium accounts will roll over. So if you never canceled yours, it'll just keep going. I did unfortunately cancel mine, but I will re-up at some point. But yeah, go support those guys. They're doing good stuff.
Yeah, it's a nice follow-up when good news happens instead of like
Yeah,
it's like being sold or like canceled or just like in the trash, just done,
yeah. And
or like
also what this
locked in a
means.
vault.
You know what else this means though?
We
They're
have
in
to compete
direct
with them.
competition with us now.
Yes.
It's no longer, oh, they're corporate, like they're bigger. No, no. They're just like the Media Boat podcast now. We're peers now. We're peers in the industry.
Wait, are you saying that we are now on the same level as Giant Bomb?
We are equally as eligible as they are for the Golden Globe for best podcast, is what I'm saying. Did you
Yeah,
see
we are.
that? Did you see that there's a podcast category at the Golden Globes now? We
Yes.
could win a
Yes, there
Golden
is.
Globe. Media Boat podcast could win a Golden Globe if we just try hard.
It's not technically a fan voted award.
No,
No,
we
no.
don't.
We just have to get people in the industry to
We just have to.
acknowledge
Yeah,
our existence.
yeah. We just
And
have to.
at least 10 people out there do acknowledge
Yeah.
us on a weekly basis.
Yeah. Hey, 10 people, you tell 10 people, and they'll tell 10 people, and they'll tell somebody in, I don't know, the Dick Clark organization about us, and then they'll
That
nominate
Ryan
us for a
Seacrest?
Golden Globe. Yeah, I think that's who owns that. Oh, the Golden Globes now, right? Like the Dick Clark company?
Yeah.
Yeah. So foreign press still a thing? Are they still voting on this? I don't know. I don't remember what happened.
No, they sold it.
They
They
don't own it, but do they still vote on it? Because people still thanked them
right.
last year. So I got really or this
I
year.
thought it was thank you for like getting it out of our way.
Thank you for bailing on this. Makes us
Yes.
feel better. Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know how the Golden Globes work. But if somebody out there knows how the Golden Globes work and know how we can get nominated for the Golden Globe for Best Podcast, please let us know. Hey,
It's great just to be nominated.
it's an honor, as they say. All right, let's
Yes.
move on. Take us to
The world of Twitch, because I posed
no.
a question on Twitch. What is Balatro?
Oh, sorry, I forgot we weren't done with video games. You played a video game.
Yes, that was my question
Yes.
that I posed in my title. What is
Uh,
Balatro?
well, you kind of have to play it to find out. It's kind of like poker, but
Yeah,
it's also not.
yeah, it's poker with jokers. And jokers do weird things. And
Mm-hmm.
jokers
Mm-hmm.
sometimes screw you over in your runs
Yeah.
constantly.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, I thought the first run I did was like, okay, like I understand it. I got pretty far. Second run,
Uh,
I beat it. I got it done. Like, oh, great. I know how to play this
Good
game.
job.
Very
Second
easy.
run. That's really impressive, honestly.
Yeah, yeah. Blue on the blue deck. I was like, oh, perfect,
Yeah.
done. Got it.
Blue deck is
I know
good.
what to do now.
Yeah.
I have not been able to beat a deck since.
Yep. Uh-huh. That's
I've
Balatro.
played like about 10 other hands since then, 10 other runs, and I think my strategy is just to like open up anytime I see a new Joker card, a new card pack. I just
Yeah.
okay, open that one. I don't care what
Right.
the other ones are. Just open the new one. Open the new one.
Right.
Open the new
Tr-
one.
Try to get
So,
new ones that are better than what you have.
well, I don't know. I just feel like I keep shooting myself in the foot because I keep like either like one maybe that I've played before is better for what I'm doing. If there's a new one, gotta go with the new one. Gotta go with the new one. Always go with the new one. New's always
Yeah.
better.
I mean, that's the wonderful thing about the game is that you can play it in all sort of different ways. You can either have the jokers lead
Hmm.
your strategy, where what you get determines how you play and what cards you're playing,
Hmm.
or you can go in with something already in mind and then try to cater the jokers you're choosing to that strategy. So you looks like you're doing mostly the former.
Yeah, I've noticed that some Jokers are more powerful than the others. I
Hmm.
do hate that you're only limited to five, unless you get other cards to do that.
Well, yeah, there are exceptions to that
There are
sometimes.
exceptions to that, yes.
Have you run into any negative jokers yet?
Uh, I've ran into a negative, I think it's a Celestial one, where
Okay.
it doubles a Joker's power but eliminates all the other Jokers.
Oh, no, no, yeah, no. There's a not negative in like what it does. There's literally negative jokers.
Like it says negative, yeah.
Look like printed negatives, like a photo
Yes,
negative, and they add a joker slot when you use them.
that's what it is. Okay.
Yeah, that's even better. Later, you'll even get a deck that automatically has six jokers, but is worse in some way. I forget what the downside of that one is, but yeah, there's a lot in there.
Yeah, there's a lot of decks in here. Like I was like scrolling over to see like how many decks there are. I was like, oh wow,
Mm,
there's a lot more. But I
a
do have
lot.
to beat the decks that they do give me in order to unlock
Yes.
those. So I'm kind of so right now I'm
Yeah.
still early on, but gotta do those and play through a bunch of the decks that they do have to unlock it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
No,
I'm having fun. I like that the decks are
yeah.
quick. I like that the runs are very quick. I do hate that sometimes I'll get to the one of the boss runs and it'll be
Yes.
you can't use any card that you've already played in this ante.
That one's rough.
And it's like,
The most,
but but like I'm at like the very last boss. What do you mean I can't use all the cards I've already used?
yeah. There's one really rough game that I had involving a boss blind. I was doing everything based on face cards. I had
Hmm.
gotten a bunch of jokers that were catered to face cards, right? It was like every card is a face card. Every face card
Yep.
gets you five times multiply or five plus multiplier. And like everything was like going towards that. And you know what boss blind I get in like the last round? You can't use
Use
face
face.
cards. I literally could not score because all
Yes.
my cards were face cards. Yes, you're probably saying at home if you played Balatro, you could have just deleted that, like sold that Joker.
Yes.
But no, there was no way I was catching up because that was my entire strategy. So even if I got rid of that Joker, I still would not have been able to score enough. I just didn't. Just wasn't prepared for that blind. So there's a lot of times where it will just pull some bullshit on you, whether it be like, oh, here's the wall. That's one of my least favorite boss blinds, which is here's just an obnoxiously high number that you have to beat. Sorry. And if you don't beat it, you're dead.
Yeah. The one that I got really frustrated on was that I had the hearts are diamonds and clubs are spades card.
Yeah.
And then I ran into a blind which was you can't play any diamonds, but all the hearts counted as diamonds too.
Right. So it's like half of your deck
So
doesn't
half the
work.
deck was already like busted and dead.
Oh, Balatro. But yeah, I'm glad you like it. Do you now regret that you didn't play it last year and it wasn't on our list? Because it may have been our game of the year if you had played it.
No, I think we still would have settled on Astrobot last year.
Yeah, you're probably right. It would have been a second place to Astrobot, but still.
I probably would put it at my number five because I think I could have played
Interesting.
it on
Okay.
mobile. Although, yeah, probably like my number
Yeah,
five,
it
number
was
four,
out on
maybe.
mobile by the end of last year. I definitely recommend the mobile version. Like I said, you have access to Apple Arcade thanks to me. So you could have played the mobile game this entire time.
Yeah, on my Apple TV though.
Yeah, on any of your Apple devices that are compatible with
Yes,
it.
that is my only Apple device. Oh wait, oh, that's currently charged, by the way.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yes.
Anyway.
Other than that, I've just been doing my Infinity Nickies every day.
Oh, you're not doing the Girl Cut?
Girl cut.
So, the most recent update,
Oh yes, I saw
people
people
are
trying to
upset.
boycott
Yeah.
government.
So instead of calling it a boycott because it's the Infinity Nikki fan base, they're calling it a girl caught. And a bunch of fans are not playing the game until Infold fixes the weird ass decisions that they made with the last update, including the new currency with the dyes and stuff. Yeah,
Really? I'm
they're
surprised you
angry.
didn't go into this because you could create
Yeah.
your own pattern and your own dye and your own
Yeah.
custom clothes. I figured
Sounds
that's right
yeah,
up your alley.
that does sound pretty cool. I don't have time for Infinity Nikki anymore. Like it's just been a while since I played it because there's been other stuff that I've been doing and playing. So I've been burning CDs. This
Oh,
baby has so many CDs in it. Anyways,
it holds so many CDs.
this baby can hold so many CDs. 96 actually specifically. Anyways, I'll
Anyways,
return to it someday.
yeah, I'm sure you will. Looks like we'll return to video games someday.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's move on then into television. We start television with the sports section, and get your calendars ready. The NFL released its schedule. Every team released their own schedule to middling acclaim, some better than others, and one got completely erased. So, unlike past years, the Los Angeles Chargers decided to forego the traditional anime update for the schedule release and instead
Ah,
did a Minecraft release update.
sure.
However, they were not the only ones to have this thought, as the Indianapolis Colts also did a Minecraft release update. But plot twist, one of those two teams actually got permission to use Minecraft. You'll bet you never guess which one that was.
No idea.
Really? Yeah, 50-50 shot there to guess.
Just go ahead and say it.
All right. The Indianapolis Colts had to pull their release schedule because they did not get permission from
Oops.
Microsoft to use Minecraft for their release video. You can
Whoops.
still find it on YouTube somewhere. But yeah, they had to officially pull it and put up a different video for the release schedule.
Wow.
But we did get some important dates to pencil in, including July 31st.
What? That's not when football happens.
It is, because that is the Hall of Fame game where the Chargers will play the Lions.
Ah,
Your official season kickoff will be on September 4th, where the Cowboys will play the defending Super Bowl champions, Eagles, where they'll have their whole ceremony and rings and blah, 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 stuff like that.
yeah, yeah. The
Raise the
whole
banner, get their ass kicked, blah, blah, blah.
yeah.
The following day, on Friday, the Chiefs will play the Chargers in Brazil, Sao Paulo, Brazil. And then your Sunday night football opener will be Ravens versus Bills. Ravens. And your Monday night opener, the September 8th, will be Vikings versus Bears in a divisional showdown. As for your international games this year, on September 28th, we have Vikings versus Steelers in Ireland. On October 5th, we have Vikings versus Browns in London, the Tottenham Stadium. We have Broncos versus Jets the following week in London, same Tottenham Stadium. The week after that, we have Rams versus Jaguars in Wembley Stadium.
Hey, I've heard of that.
2 weeks later, Falcons versus Colts in Berlin. And the week after that, Commanders versus Dolphins in Madrid, Spain.
Uh-huh.
Going all international. As for your holiday games, Thanksgiving, we'll see Packers versus Lions, Chiefs versus Cowboys, and Bengals versus Ravens.
Hmm.
Your Black Friday game, because Amazon's piss poor about losing Thursday games, will be Bears versus Eagles. Christmas Day, we will see Cowboys versus Commanders, Lions versus Vikings, Broncos versus the Chiefs. And just a nice reminder, on February 8th, the Super Bowl for the NFL will be played in Santa Clara, home of the 40 Ninnies. So yeah, the seasons are out, the schedule is out. You can do what I do, which is plan every single game, see if you can go to see every single team play at least once in the season. But that costs money and time and like retirement savings. But we'll see what happens as the season continues. Over in the MLB, we have big news happening. So last week talked about how the Rockies were very struggling to even win 10 games in the season. Well, they decided to do
Yep.
something about that. They have fired their head coach or their manager 2 months into the season.
Yes. Their manager and their head coach, I want to mention.
Yes.
Also, I was quiet there because there's technical stuff happening. You were kind of frozen for a lot of that
Well,
NFL
also it
talk.
was
Just
NFL
letting
and
you
you
know.
don't really talk during that.
But also technical
Yes.
stuff. Anyways, yeah, no, I saw this and was like, that seems drastic, but not drastic when you find out that they've only won 7 games.
Yep. Drastic measures for a team in a drastic position.
Exactly.
Over in the NBA, the playoffs continue. Eliminated, as of this recording, are the Warriors and the first seed in the East, in the West, Cavaliers, East, West, East, West,
Don't ask me.
East, Cavaliers, the Cleveland Cavaliers. They also had the NBA draft lottery, where with a 1.8% chance, mainly because they gave up Luka Doncic, the Dallas
Uh,
Mavericks have won the NBA draft lottery with the first overall pick. Um, as most people are saying, this is just the thank you for sending Luka to the Lakers. And, he got rewarded with the first overall pick, even though it's supposed to be a lottery. But,
right.
the fix is in when you give up your best player with a 1.8% chance of getting the overall number one pick and you
Sure.
end up with it.
Yeah. Hmm.
Over on the NHL side, the Golden Knights are the first team eliminated after getting royally swept. And the NHL draft lottery also happened, and the New York Islanders get the number 101 first overall pick. This is their first overall pick since 2009.
Wow.
So quite a while there.
Yeah.
All right. Um, Other than that, I will talk about the Indianapolis 500 next week, or maybe the week
Okay.
after. I think it's next week, as we get into the Memorial Weekend. Yeah, that is the following weekend on the 25th.
Hmm. Okay.
So
Sounds
Indy
good.
cars are a coming.
Indy cars are coming. All right. Well, that'll do it for sports, which means we will move on now to the rest of television and television news. And this week, hey, wait a minute. What? Are we going back in time? What's happening here?
The time machine worked.
Yeah, I guess so, because it's not Max anymore. It's going to be HBO Max again. The Warner Brothers Discovery owned streamer, formerly known as HBO Max and currently known as just Max, is changing its name to HBO Max. Warner Brothers Discovery and Media Boat Villain CEO David Zaslav announced the full retreat from the Maxification of HBO Wednesday at his company's upfront presentation to advertisers. The official name change will take place sometime this summer. In a press release, WBD said this evolution, I'm using scare quotes for the audio listeners, came after months of Max paring down its offerings to, quote, deprioritize other genres that drive less engagement or acquisition. That's gross business speak, but you get what it means, including recently removing hundreds of hours of the Discovery branded reality shows that the Max name was meant to encompass. Of course, brought over from Discovery Plus, the now defunct independent streaming network. WBD also announced this week that it's launching something called the WBD Storyverse, a new ad sales initiative designed to turn of the studio's classic IP into elaborate commercials. Yeah, an idea that nobody has done before, right? Inspired by some of WBD's past brand partnerships with companies including Unilever, Wayfair, and State Farm. Oh, this is just miserable. WBD Storyverse will create ads meant to capitalize on consumers' fondness for movies like The Matrix and Harry Potter, as well as series like Friends, The Big Bang Theory, and Family Matters. Please stop. This is eating my soul. Family Matters?
Yeah. Well,
What?
you know that they just had the Batman, Bateman, State Farm commercials, right? You know how they had the Clueless commercials, right?
I just want to say real briefly, I hate that Zaslav's approach with this company is equal parts. Sure, we care about this old stuff. And also, no, we don't care about this old stuff. With the difference only being, can it make us money? Yes, no. If it can, sure, throw it into some commercials, right? Because commercials make money, I
Mhm.
think, allegedly. Oh, but the Looney Tunes collection on Max? Nah, get rid of it. No one cares about that anymore. It doesn't make us money. Oh, let's sell these movies that people love, starring our beloved characters. Oh, but they're not making $1 billion in the box office, so we don't even want to release them. We're just gonna let some other company buy it for literal change and make a couple $1 million on it, and then we'll like I don't know, reap the rewards on their commercials. Commercials. Family Matters. Who who is thinking about Family Matters in the year of our Lord 2025? Is it? Did you see somebody outside dressed as Urkel today? I didn't. What's happening here? What is this story?
Well, see, what you do is you pair Family Matters with a glasses company, and you just have the character Urkel go and try out different
Yeah,
glasses and be like, see,
Jaleel. Yeah,
yeah,
Jaleel White in a Warby Parker commercial. I can see it now.
yep.
This is miserable. Zazoff is miserable. None of this makes sense. And yeah, we get to call it HBO Max again. Wow, lucky us.
But also, we get to see uh Warner Brothers IP everywhere now, thanks to advertising. Well,
Uh,
well, I saw this news, but then I also saw the Netflix news that they're going to have AI generated ads in the middle of their ad
uh-huh.
breaks.
Yeah.
So you could be watching something like Stranger Things or Wednesday or Bridgerton, and in the
Hmm,
middle,
hmm,
it'll be an AI generated ad in the middle of the show before it goes back to the normal show. So it's just blending what is an ad now.
Ugh, just awful. And then I saw today that YouTube is messing around with specific like ads that they might do in peak times in a video, peak
Hmm.
ads. And I'm like, that's great. That's just what I
Uh,
want.
wait, don't they already do that though?
I think the way it works now is it's not like it doesn't go by performance. It's like it's like at slated places in the video, and I think creators have
Yeah,
like
usually
at
wherever
least
like
some
there's a
control over
chapter
it.
break,
Right.
usually there's a chapter break already like scheduled
Yeah.
into the video that'll say like, okay,
Yeah.
chapter break, chapter break, chapter break. We can place an ad here.
Right. What they're talking about here is an automatic ad that is put in where the most like climactic moment of the video is going to happen. It's just gonna get worse.
I mean, this,
No, we don't have any ads. But if you want to, if you are, yes, please email us at mediaboatpodcast@gmail.com. As long as you're not something that's like, I don't know, gross or responsible for death or something. We'll look into it. Help us out. All right, let's move on. Let's get out of television news. Do we have any thoughts? Do we have any thoughts about television?
I did have Andor thoughts here, but I have not finished Andor.
Okay, we'll
I
wait.
thought I'd be able to, but I did not, so I'll have thoughts on that next week.
Okay.
But other than that, still watching a bunch of other stuff as well. Hacks, 24 and 24 is back. Uh, The Last of Us season two, still watching that. So
Mm.
things are happening, things are going. Studio, I don't think that wrapped up yet.
No,
Yeah,
no. I
I
think
have
there was a
not
new one
wrapped up
this
that
week.
yet. Yeah.
Yeah. Still very impressed with what that show is doing every week. That is an early front runner for our lists at the end of the year for sure for me.
I mean, when they make something specifically made for us,
Yeah, truly. Christy loves it too, though. That's the big shocker for me is that she thinks it's the funniest thing right now, and like, okay, cool, we're all on board. Sign of quality right there. All right, let's move on to cancellations and renewals, shall we?
what am I no longer watching?
You're no longer watching NBC's reboot of Night Court. It has been canceled after its third season, which is airing now, I believe, or it just wrapped
Yes,
up.
it's currently airing out there. Yeah.
Okay. Um, NBC has also canceled Lopez versus Lopez after three seasons. And also, in a big surprise move, Suits LA, the spinoff, of course, of Suits, the streaming hit that they wanted to capitalize on. Apparently, the LA version just wasn't getting eyeballs on it, and so they're already done after its inaugural season. No more
To be
Suits LA.
fair, it was a USA hit before it was a
Yeah.
streaming revival.
Yeah, I know, but like it's the reason why they did this in the first place was because of success on streaming. So yeah,
Hmm.
just didn't turn out to be what they wanted it to be. All right. Next up, NBC canceled Found after after season two. I guess they found out that it wasn't worth keeping around. They've also canceled The Irrational after three seasons. Moving on to Prime Video, On Call has been canceled after two seasons. And now get ready for the roundup of renewals. We've got so many renewals.
Well, these are all the renewals because they got to get into production over the summer. So
Yes,
gotta tell
indeed.
them now to start.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm gonna try to keep up. The stream is crappy right now, and it's
Yeah,
like
it's
you're
hot in
moving in
here. I'm
molasses.
adding fans and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. But yeah, renewals. We'll start with NBC's renewals. They're bringing back Law and Order SVU for a 27th season, Law and Order Regular for a 25th season, of course, continuing after being brought back after death. Brilliant Minds will get a second season, and The Hunting Party will get a second season. Meanwhile, on ABC, Shark Tank will return for a 17th season. Celebrity Wheel of Fortune with Ryan Seacrest will return for a third season. Celebrity Jeopardy will return for a fourth season. Its third season is currently airing right now and is also available on Hulu. American Idol will be renewed for a 24th total season and ninth season on ABC. So it will return next year. America's Funniest Home Videos also will return for a 33rd season, if you've been keeping track of that. Also on Fox, Universal Basic Guys will return for a third season. Animated Krapopolis will return for a fifth season. Believe it or not, seems insane that that thing is on its fifth season already. Grimsburg will return for a third season. Extracted will return for a second season. And your favorite, The Floor, will return for a fifth season.
The flourish.
You love The Floor. All right. Beyond the Gates on CBS will return for a second season. And then on Prime Video, Fallout had its third season announced in advance of its second season, which has yet to premiere. And Netflix will be bringing back Lupin, its live action Lupin, for a fourth season, as well as Love on the Spectrum, returning for a fourth season, Million Dollar Secret, returning for a second season, My Life with the Walter Boys, with a second season, Survival of the Thickest for a third season, which will be its last, The Diplomat, which will be its fourth season, and The Four Seasons, which will be its second season. That's confusing. They're also bringing back a show called Forever for a second season. Go ahead and say it.
Forever.
There you go. And Bridgerton will return for two more seasons to bring its total to six.
Yes. That was a lot of renewals. I
That's a lot
guess
of
I have to
renewals.
check out the four seasons on Netflix because that stars Steve Carell and Tina Fey in it,
Oh, right. Yes,
based
that.
off the movie of The Four Seasons, which was an 80s movie. This is now the series, The Four Seasons, which now gets a second season, I guess. Um, Other than that, the animated Foxes of Universal Basic Guys, Krapopolis and Grimsburg. Not
Yeah,
a surprise, as we saw that coming when they renewed the Simpsons contract and the
right.
other 20th Century Animations as well. Uh, but yeah, all your hits are returning.
Yep, believe it or not. All right. We also have a couple of deaths to talk about real briefly. First up, James Foley, age 71. Director, including the movies Glengarry Glen Ross and 50 Shades Freed. We also had Robert Benton, age 92, director of Kramer versus Kramer and Places in the Heart. So a couple of Oscar-winning flicks there between the two of these directors here, Glengarry Glen Ross and Kramer versus Kramer. So some story directing careers.
Yep. Uh,
All right.
Legacy directors.
Yes, exactly. Speaking of movies, let's move into the movies section as we wrap up the show today. And we always start with the weekend box office numbers before you get excited. Of course, since we did solo shows for the last 3 weeks, we do not have a current bet, but the bet will return today. So get excited. We start with your number one movie, which is Thunderbolts Asterisk, which made another $32 million this week. That's at 127 domestic. Coming in at number two, still in the top five, though, Sinners with another $22 million. That's at 215. That is a hit, folks. Number three, a Minecraft movie, also a hit, $7.6 million this week. That's at $408 million. Woo! Number four, The Accountant 2, still here, $6.7 million this week. That's at 51. And rounding out your top five, Clown in a Cornfield, always a good time. $3.6 million in its debut. And in case you're wondering about the other two debuts this week, number six was Shadow Force with $2.1 million, and number seven, Fight or Flight with $2 million even.
Yep. It's nice to see Sinners up there with 215 million,
Yeah.
especially off a $60 million budget. That is a certified hit.
Yes.
I will not be talking about Thunderbolts. I know I said I was going to see it. I did not. I do have set time on Saturday to go see it, so I'll talk about it
Got it.
next week.
Okay.
And I feel like I should release Sinners at some point before it leaves theaters. I just running out of time, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's fair. It's busy. It's busy times lately. Busy, busy
Mhm.
times. So let's move on to our new releases coming this week. Weird week, because we got a movie that I'm actually not even sure if it's still happening, and a movie that I'm surprised is happening at all. So, do we know whether the weekend's Hurry Up Tomorrow is actually coming out?
Yes. As for how
Okay.
big of a release it will get outside of it an LA and New York release, do
Yeah.
not know.
Give
but
that a
it
miss.
is technically coming out this weekend.
Okay. Then its competition this week is a new Final Destination film, Final Destination Bloodlines. Sure,
Sure, people
sure.
like getting killed over the summer.
It's true. So I don't know. Should we even do a bet this week since
I feel like it's going to be Final Destination.
you think Final Destination? Because yeah,
Okay,
no one even knows that the weekend thing exists. So
right.
that's fair.
So does Final Destination Bloodlines make 20 million?
Okay. I do not remember who guessed first last time.
I don't know, but I'm saying that if it doesn't hit 20 million, Thunderbolts will
Uh-huh.
probably be your number one movie.
Okay. So do you want to do it based on the number one then?
Yeah. Do you
Okay.
want Thunderbolts or do you want Bloodlines? Will it hit 20 million?
I'll take the bet. I will take Final Destination. I will say Final
Okay.
Destination is your number one movie.
All right. I will take Thunderbolts.
Okay. It's
I'm
just I'm
fine with
looking at
that.
that 32 and that feels low, and so that's why I'm
Yes.
like, new
It
new
feels low.
movie.
It feels like it's going to keep
Yeah,
dropping, which is why if it loses another half, that's putting it at about
yeah,
15, plus a Marvel
yeah.
buff puts it up to 20.
But new movie with a recognizable franchise name that we haven't seen in a
And
while.
people like seeing the
People
different
like
deaths in
it.
it. It could
Yeah,
do it. Maybe
it's
horror
good
movies do
time right
surprise
now.
us.
Yeah,
Well,
so we'll see.
there may be a better way for us to settle these debates.
Maybe. Jury's still out on that one, whether good is the goal here. But yes, that's a perfect segue into our movie story this week, which involves an old media boat favorite, MoviePass, but
You
in
thought
name
we were
only.
done. You thought we were
No,
done with MoviePass.
oh, trust me, we are done with MoviePass, but we're not done with the people involved in MoviePass, as they have secured a $100 million capital investment from Global Emerging Markets, which you have capitalized here, which implies that that is the name of an organization and not a
Yes.
generic term.
Yes.
Okay. To accelerate the development of something called Mogul. Which is a new fantasy gaming platform that the company launched this month. That game, which is in beta currently, allows people to predict box office results per screen averages, sentiment scores, and awards success for films, while assuming the role of a studio executive. Users of the app can compete in tournaments, head to head matchups, or play solo. MoviePass is likening it to a fantasy sports league, but for movies. The company currently has a waiting list of 400,000 people and expects to have 200,000 users by the end of May. Pause real quick.
Yes.
This is not a new idea. This is
No.
something that exists.
Yes. We have
This
played
is
something like this exists
yeah.
before.
You can already do this. No one like stopping you from already doing this. Plenty of people already do this. But the guys behind MoviePass, I guess, decided that they also want to get into the space,
Hmm.
and some people are interested. Uh, Whatever. This is just a big whatever for me. It's like this is not new. This is not original. This is not creative.
Yeah.
But
They
sure,
sold it as box office with fantasy sports.
sure.
And
But that,
fantasy sports is big
yeah,
right now, especially with league betting everywhere. Like, hey, can't we do that with movies? You want
right.
to bet how much a movie's going to make, like we do on weekly here? Like, do you think this one's going to be better than the other movie?
Yeah, but we're not gambling on it because we don't put up money, which is key here. So
Yes,
yeah,
just
but
just
whatever.
just my dignity and reputation,
Exactly.
which means
Which is slow.
nothing at this point. I'm just
Yeah, I was
kidding.
gonna say which you're slowly losing, and with the way
Yes,
that this is going. Yeah, I don't know. This just seems dumb, and I don't trust those guys because they've made really poor financial decisions before. They can make them again.
yes, but this is Stacy Spikes back in the driver's seat, not after he sold it to the Helios investment company.
Still don't trust it,
I
but
don't
sure,
know. I'll
it
tell you when
exists.
I get in to
If
the
you
beta.
get it.
When? I'm sure there are not actual 400,000 people on the beta wait list for this thing.
You think are you calling them liars?
No, I am calling their bluff. They're not liars, they're just bluffing.
Fair
There's
enough.
a difference because there's actual money involved in this, supposedly.
to
Maybe
focus on.
$100 million of
It's
investment says
insane.
there's money involved with this.
Anyways, all right. That is it for movie news. Did we watch any movies? You said you did
Uh,
not see Thunderbolts
no, like I said, I'll talk about Thunderbolts next week.
next week.
Other than that, I've been watching a lot of TV stuff. No official movies that I want to like sit down and watch yet.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. Then that will, in fact, do it for the Media Boat podcast this week. We'll be back next week, the both of us, for another episode. But in the meantime, if you want to watch our videos of our podcast, you can go to our YouTube channel, search YouTube for Media Boat Podcast. You can like, subscribe, and click the bell for notifications when new videos go up. You can also listen to us in audio form on any podcast service of your choice. Just search Media Boat Podcast on any of those services and subscribe. You can also find us on the internet. We're on social media on Blue Sky by searching MediaBoat on that platform. We are on twitch.tv/MediaBoat, where you can find Mike occasionally playing video games. So you've wrapped up Blueprints. What are you playing now?
Like I said, I've been playing Balatro. I'll go back to Blueprint. I haven't completed everything that game has to
Oh,
offer
okay.
because that game has a lot to offer.
Yeah, turns out. Okay, cool. And we have MediaBoatPodcast.com, which is our website. And lastly, like I mentioned earlier, if you want to email us and ask us a question, give us some feedback about the show, yell at us because we're wrong, or sponsor us, you can email us at mediabopodcast@gmail.com. All right, that'll do it for this week. We'll be back next week for a new episode, so stay tuned and we'll see you then.
We'll be back with more news, more thoughts, more us. Goodbye.